This is going to be a review of a 2006 first generation Chevrolet Colorado GMC Canyon. I've driven this truck for 100,000 miles. I'm going to tell you guys what I think about it, what I like about it, and what it's like driving it. Yeah, I got the crew cab configuration. It's not the best amount of space in the world, but you see it gets the job done once I pull those seats up a little bit. I got a aftermarket head unit. I just wasn't a big fan of the one it comes with. It was just pretty outdated and it didn't have an auxiliary cord, so I just threw that in there. It's an old piece of shit. It's all worn out, but it's a lot better than the factory one. But it's whatever. Power windows, disengaged window right there, heated mirrors. They work. They're pretty big. I like that. Also got power locks, airbags right here, another one right there. Doesn't have the best crash testing rating, but if you're careful all the way you drive in, you shouldn't have any problems at all. So one of the things I don't like about this truck is that in my particular case, this vehicle has been sitting out for a long period of time. So one of the first things that went out on it, because it's been sitting out so long, there, see, 100,000 miles. One of the first things that were going bad on this was that I was getting very poor engine power. It was misfiring like crazy. And the reason why is because the ignition coils were going bad and deteriorating. That's just my guess, because I replaced all 4 of them and they worked fine. After that, all I've had to get replaced on this thing was a passenger side wheel bearing, because I heard a whole bunch of groaning, and thermostat. Other than that, so far 100,000 miles, not bad. Hadn't had a misfire, runs like a champ. Fires up, shifts, sometimes it shifts kind of late, but it's a cheaper, older truck, so. Also, ride's pretty stiff, not the best ride quality. But it's fairly comfortable. This one right here in particular is a inline 4. Inline 4 engine. Not the most fuel efficient. I mean, with all the steel wrapping around this truck, the front fender steel, bumper steel, basically everything is steel in this thing. It's heavy. For an inline 4, that's not very efficient. It gets pretty poor gas mileage. I get probably around 15 highway, Mountain 9, city, something like that. It's just the way I drive. But one of the things I don't like about this truck as well is there's scratchy plastic everywhere. Everywhere there's scratchy plastic. And I put this steering wheel cover on here because the leather wrap is kind of falling apart. It's really old. But yeah, there's more scratchy plastic here, scratchy plastic there, door panels, pretty cheap headlining. I mean, this is already starting to split. It's just plastic underneath that, just more plastic everywhere. Plastic is everywhere. B-pillars. You're not going to get around all the plastic. The seats, they're nothing special. They're not powered or anything. You just got some cheap unclippable cup holders here. You got a small console space there. It flips up. No power seats or anything. It's pretty basic. It's an automatic, but it's a good truck to just be daily driving it and whatever needs to get done. All 4 handles on each door. For $6,000 used on the market, this isn't bad, but I got this through a dealership, so I'm pretty much biting the bullet on that. But if you're looking for a cheap truck, it's a 2-wheel drive. This one is. It's very cheap on the used market. You can get them for probably around like $6,000, something like that. Some common problems people have with these engines is down here in the South is people tend to not change their oil when they need to. On here, I believe. Sorry about that. Let's see here. If I can find it. Nah, reset at the trip. Maybe I have to need to turn it off and turn it back on. Let's see. There's an option here on the menu for oil life. There it is, oil life. What I'm guessing is a lot of people are going by the oil life, or they forget to reset their oil life on this truck, and what ends up happening is they forget to change their oil, or it's too little too late to change their oil, and they do it many times, and they end up messing up this engine, or it collects a lot of sludge or something like that. So I always change my oil for like about every 5,000 to 7,000 miles. I use synthetic oil. But other than that, if you're looking at an old used sorry, I'm just sitting here like this. My phone's about to die, so I'm just trying to record this real quick. If you're looking for a used truck like this one, I would try and see if you can get a hold of like some sort of service history, because timing chains on these things are way over engineered. There's 2 timing chains, one in the front and one where the transmission is in the rear. So you actually have to drop the transmission to just replace the rear timing chain. So just take note of that. These are over engineered when it comes to those timing chains, and it's going to cost thousands just to fix a timing chain on these things. But if they're well taken care of, they can go, 300,000 miles and beyond. I mean, if they're well taken care of. But other than that, just want to let you guys know what kind of experiences I'm having with this truck, and I like it. I want to keep it, and I want to do some future videos about this truck and my plans on what to do with it. So in a separate video, I'll talk more a little bit about that and figure out exactly what I'm going to do with this truck and go from there, and I'll let you guys know, because I like these trucks. There's a large fan base for these trucks, and well, we'll just see what happens. So stay tuned.